And now we're joined by meteorologist Theo Cook. And Theo, looking at those pictures of Crossville, seeing dawn out there, is that a snapshot into our future, or will that be headed our way at all?
Yeah, the upper levels will warm a little quicker than the surface. So as we've been saying all week, moderate to high impacts, but not really from the snow. We are seeing some snow, but as Don said, the roads really aren't that dicey or icy yet. That's what's concerning me, though, later this afternoon into this evening, is that the snow transitions to sleet and freezing rain, and those roads are going to ice up pretty much regardless of what you put down on them with how cold it is in Crossville. But let's enjoy the snow while we can in Cumberland County, coming down pretty strong with those gusty winds. So today we are weather aware for those wintry mix. Could be heavy at times, especially across the plateau, Northern Valley. Sunday it does become all cold, heavy rain. But we're not out of the clear once it does, because we cool very quickly by Monday morning. That's our concern once again for some fairly widespread black ice with how much water is going to be on the roadways. Ice storm warning from Knox County down to Spring City and Pikeville. That's the highest ice accumulation expected. A winter storm warning Maynardville, Fall, Wartburg, and northward for a mixed bag, and then not much accumulations in Blunt, Sevier, and Monroe counties. But you can see winter storm warnings and advisories all the way back in New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, all the way up to pretty much Maine. Most of the country dealing at least with some sort of wintry weather this weekend. Widespread snow across Kentucky, Tennessee, even northern Alabama dealing with quite a bit of sleet and ice. I-65, several crashes have been reported. Let's bring it back home. 30 degrees right now in Knoxville, Danridge 28 in Maynardville, 18 across the plateau in Jamestown, and Oneida 19 in Crossville. You can see that very light shading of snow and sleet mixing in. This is percent relative humidity. So the yellows, the lower numbers, is a lower percentage. 39% relative humidity in Morristown. That means very dry air in place. Look what's happening back in Crossville, 80% relative humidity. As that number continues to increase, the moisture starts to build. That's when we see the snow coming down a little bit, at least more moderate or even heavy at times. I think we continue to see that moisture build across much of the area. Cold air in place across the entire atmosphere, which means we start as snow. We essentially work backwards on this graphic from right to left. Warm air starts to creep in, kind of mid-levels of the atmosphere, 6,000 feet or so. So we start to melt, and then it refreezes, which means we see some sleet. That warm column of air gets a little thicker, and we're only right around freezing at the surface, which means it sticks on contact. The sleet and the freezing rain is my concern for those roads freezing over. This is 11 o'clock, so just 40 minutes away or so, you can see that light snow really starting to creep into much of the area. This blue line right here on the east side of Smokies, that's the freezing line, even trying to creep into east parts of East Tennessee. That's above freezing in Newport to Greenville. Everyone else is below freezing, widespread light to moderate snow. I think it's pretty heavy at times for parts of the plateau as we head into 1, 2, 3 o'clock. Widespread snow north of I-40. You see the pink starting to creep in south of I-40. That's the freezing rain. Anytime after noon, stay off the roads if at all possible, because snow, sleet, freezing rain. You can see that freezing line trying to make its way northward. So parts of the Southern Valley are going to warm above freezing as we head into the evening hours. But north of I-40, still 8 o'clock. Widespread issues with mid to low 20s across the plateau. Barberville at only 26. Right at freezing in Maynardville. It's going to be a close call in Knoxville, right around 32, 33, 34. See that freezing line slowly start to creep back up. Overnight tonight, we do actually warm a little bit, relatively 35 in Knoxville, 3 a.m. Still plateau southeast Kentucky below freezing and widespread freezing rain there. But by about daybreak or so, just about everybody is above freezing, and we can at least start to melt some of these ice totals away. But until that, we could see some quarter-inch amounts across the valley. That's enough to do some damage, and we could even see half-an-inch totals in southeast Kentucky into the northern parts of the plateau. Not seeing a ton of snow, but north of I-40, those are the places that are going to be the best. What happens when you see 1/10 of an inch? Not a ton, but slick roads and bridges definitely possible. It's that quarter to half inch where we start getting into that power outage range and very hazardous travel. Likely even see some roads closing if you get anything over half an inch of ice. We're going to melt tomorrow. Most of your travel should be fine, maybe the exception of southeast Kentucky. But with that liquid around, we're not evaporating 2 or 3 inches of water on the ground through the day tomorrow. Monday morning, we'll wake up in the teens and even as low as 9 degrees in Jamestown. So solid ice by the time we get to Monday morning. Look at Tuesday morning. I think a lot of that water starts to evaporate. 3 degrees though, so there could be some lingering icy patches. this is the coldest 7-day stretch we've been on so far, Naomi. So definitely bundle up and stay inside if at all possible this weekend.
All right, thank you, Theo. And this picture just